Go ahead. Time being 9 o'clock, I call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, you? Yeah, well, I just heard about it. It was terrible. I didn't know all about it.
Okay, the agenda.
On TV.
Any changes to the agenda? If not, could we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda?
Motion by Judy, second.
Second it.
Second by Dana. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Minutes. Has everyone reviewed the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Teresa to approve the minutes. Is
I'll
there a
second
second?
it.
Second by Judy. Any discussion? All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Public comment. Would anyone care to address the board?
Kelly Stanage from Houston Township. I'd like to direct my comments first to two commissioners specifically, Commissioner Zemieski and Commissioner Chomey. I'd like to thank you both for thoroughly studying and understanding the risks posed by frac sand mining, for listening to your constituents, for not capitulating to frac sand mining special interests, for demonstrating strength of conviction to your own ethics, and after objectively studying the risks posed by this industry to the health and safety of Houston County residents, casting your votes to reflect the clear and overwhelming will of the people you were elected to serve. I'd also like to pose a question to the other three commissioners. What happened in 1 week? You vote unanimously 1 week to prohibit all but agriculture and construction sand mining, then completely reverse your position in a week. The evidence didn't change in a week. Public sentiment can't come as a surprise to you. We've been studying this for 3 years. Were you bullied, intimidated, and harassed like so many of the public have been? I understand there is now a campaign to blame the lack of regulation on the two commissioners who attempted to protect us. Even some of you are blaming Commissioners Zemieski and Chomey for not passing the Planning Commission's recommended, which, if you will remember, received negative feedback from both the mining industry and those concerned. You reached unanimous agreement at the public hearing. The only commissioners to be applauded and commended are the two who cast their votes to uphold their sworn duty to protect the health, safety, and general welfare of their constituents. Thank you for your service.
My name is Sue Van Gorp from Yucatan Township. Good morning. I was recently reviewing the Code of Ethics and Conflict of Interest policies for Houston County employees and public officials. And I have a question for each member of the Planning Commission, the P&Z Administrator, the Environmental Services Director, and the three commissioners that voted against a ban on frac sand mining. Will you or any member of your family financially benefit if frac sand mining is allowed in Houston County? If so, you need to recuse yourself from any decision-making regarding frac sand mining. You owe your constituents honest disclosure about this, and sooner or later the truth will come out. Secondly, I've repeatedly witnessed several of you commissioners allowing pro-frac speakers to go over the 2-minute allotment allowed at these meetings. You greet them with a welcoming demeanor and allow an exchange of banter between you and them. But on the other hand, citizens against frac sand mining are held strictly to the 2-minute time allotment, are dismissed with sour expressions and disinterest, and made to feel unwelcome here. I personally witnessed Donna Buckby and Ken Jumper being evicted preemptively for doing nothing wrong at the last commissioners meeting, while minors in the audience were allowed to be disruptive with no consequences. These behaviors are highly discriminatory, and this is what democracy looks like. And it is your job to treat speakers and citizens with respect when they come here today to talk to you, even if you don't agree with what they say.
Brian Van Gorp, Yucatan Township. I'd like to congratulate you for squandering 3 years. We've had 3 moratoriums, a study group, an ordinance writing group, several lawsuits, an investigation of an employee that showed malfeasance, and we've wasted a couple $100,000 minimum of taxpayer money, all to end up exactly where we started 3 years ago. And I also want to point out that I think initially most of you thought writing this new ordinance was about frac sand mining, but for at least some of the people, and I'm going to say particularly the people involved in planning and zoning that were on that ordinance writing committee, it was about a cover-up and a workaround for their nonfeasance that's occurred over the last several decades so that their nonfeasance would not be exposed. Well, it's a little late. It's exposed. Right now, the mining process in Houston County is in chaos. 0110.0402 states Bob Scanlon is responsible for that chaos. All but 11 mines are non-conforming. Dan Griffin and Bob Scanlon said last week at the meeting that about 75 of these have been long-term inactive. If any have been in continuous operation for the past 50 years, by definition, they have expanded. And I would point to the Chapel mine as an example. I drove past it every day going to work 25 years ago, and it's expanded. On top of that, none have reclamation plans. They all are in violation of County Ordinance 0110.2708, and almost all are in violation of State Statute 39.4.36, and therefore must be terminated and reclaimed now. If the miners want to get angry about something,
Thank you,
how about
Brian.
the fact that none of their mines are legally able to operate?
You're done.
Thank you.
Morning, Commissioners. Ken Jumper from La Crescent Township. I'm sure much to your relief, I am not going to talk about frac sand mining. Because you are the people who supervise employees throughout the country, just as a courtesy to you, as the supervisor of all hired employees, I simply want to inform you that I filed an ethics complaint against Bob Scanlon, the zoning administrator. And I will give a copy with expectation that it will become part of the official record of this meeting to our auditor, Shar Miner. Thank you, Commissioners.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bruce Kimball from Caledonia, Minnesota. I wish to file a 2-part complaint against Bob Scanlon, Houston County Zoning Administrator, with regard to the reclamation plans and with regard to the lack of bonds to assure that the county will never be held in liability for reclaiming those mines that might not be in compliance and also just quit, abandon. I think our aquifers are much too precious to allow holes and scars upon the face of our county that would allow toxicity to go into our aquifers. These things need to be addressed, and Mr. Scanlon is remiss, and for that reason there will be an ethical complaint filed with TESS.
Steve Hartwick, Money Creek Township. This whole concept of taking, when you take something, it's either out of need or greed. We currently have adequate mining activity to meet the county's needs, so it's essentially greed that's being the issue here. And when you have greed, you take from your neighbors 30% of their property values and threaten their health and welfare. Legally, the concept of taking means that you take all economic opportunities and you deprive them of the economic opportunities. And the frac sand ban would not take from agriculture activities or forestry activities or the current mining activities. The comprehensive land use plan for Houston County gives priority to agriculture. And legally taking can occur when there is a public nuisance, which I think a frac sand mine fits that definition. I was really disappointed last week to see how this board operated in reneging and betraying the public. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Yvonne Karks to Caledonia Township. I wish Justin were here to hear my praise of him also. Dana and Justin, thank you for working so hard for Houston County. You two are good examples of how commissioners should serve their constituents, and those in your districts can be proud, proud of who they elected. I'm sure both of you had plenty of calls and emails from people with a different view regarding frac sand mining, but you stayed the course and voted last week according to the wishes of the majority. You are to be commended for standing up for us in spite of pressure from others. Some may try to blame you for not having regulations in place for frac sand mining. They will say you two voted against regulation. But the truth is, you were correct in not voting for the flawed draft ordinance, which was the result of removing the language recommended by the study committee. Anyone who thinks differently should actually read the draft instead of going by what others tell them. So again, I say thank you, Commissioner Choney, and thank Commissioner Zimulski. The people in your districts can be proud that you are their commissioners because you heard their voices and acted and voted accordingly. Unfortunately, many of us can't say the same.
Does anyone else care to address the board?
I too wish to thank Mr. Tony and Justin for all the hard work that they have done, for their honesty and for their integrity, and I just wish the rest of the board had the same.
Anyone else?
Jay Schnorler Crescent Township. I'll take a different tact. I'd like to thank the entire board for the work that they're doing, for their hearts that are in it. I don't agree with what the board has recently done, but I know you are trying to guide our county into the 21st century. I must say, however, that I'm very disappointed that you've not listened to your constituency relative to this frac sand issue, nor have you listened to your planning commission. You have changed your mind and you vote recently on this, and therefore you've left the county with basically an empty code as we go forward. When you were elected, you agreed to protect the environment of the county. Including in that, but not specifically stated, was our natural resources, the water and the air quality. By your action or your inaction, you've not done that. You've simply left us with a code that is full of holes and have gone against your planning and study commission. I ask you to change your stance and revert back to what you were elected to do, and that is to represent your constituency and the beauty and natural environment of Houston County.
Would you repeat your last name, please?
Schnoor, S-C-H-N-O-O-R.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll proceed with the meeting. And up first, Dick Walter.
Thank you. I think you received my request in the packet we have a bounty on section and quarter section corners with private surveyors when they're doing work in a particular area, which we've had in effect since about 1997. And it started out at $400 a corner, and then it was raised to $500, and then when we had a financial problem a few years, I think in 2010, it was dropped to $250. We cut it in half. And right now, a lot of the surveyors are working with us, and it's working out quite well, but they've been like saying that it's been costing them more than reasonable, because even back in '97 I had done a study on the proper method for corner restoration, which would be the office research, the field research, the tying in of all that, the computing of it, and then setting a county monument with a tie sheet and a certificate. And back in '97 it was already between 1,000 and 1,500. So in realistic terms, and the other thing is, a lot of the surveyors are, the work they're doing in the private sector is actually, if Tammy and I were to do it on our own, it would cost more than $500. So it's kind of a win-win for both. The private surveyors that are doing private work for private landowners, they want their tie corners, which is the section corner and the quarter corner, they want that to be a good, valid location. And so they're willing to do extra, and so I think you received the same information in your letter, and I would like the resolution to go from the 250 back to the 500. I looked at my budget, I'm looking at it as the professional and technical services one has been going down every year, and I think that it's at 8,000. I think dealing with the highway department's platting progress, I'm looking at probably 4,000. That leaves 4,000 for this, and that would do 8 corners. And it does kind of fluctuate. Some years it's 2, 3, then it's 16. So it is one of those items that But
I think it sounds like you've put a lot of research into it, and it makes a lot of sense. So I make a motion that we go ahead with the motion. Or the resolution, I'm sorry.
Motion by Judy to accept the resolution.
I'll second it.
Second by Dana. Is there any discussion? All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay.
I have to recuse myself.
I vote aye. And the motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good to go, Dick.
Have a good meeting.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, permits.
Yeah, Bob's here.
Yeah, Bob, come on up.
Morning.
Morning.
Just going to report on the public hearing. It was held by the Planning Commission back on February 26th. They recommended approval of an interim use permit for Rick Van Lin of Van Lin Orchards for a home occupation level 2, with a condition to follow all federal, state, and local permits and rules and regulations, and that there would be no amplified speakers outside of the building. And they recommended approval of that to this board.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion by Judy, seconded by Dana. Is there any other discussion? All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried.
Planning Commission also recommended approval of a preliminary plat submitted by Matt Klug, Caledonia Township, who is in the process of subdividing an existing lot in the Green Acres subdivision, Caledonia Township. And Matt Klug was approved for a variance for road width back in December to go from the required 100 foot to 70. That was approved. And taking a look at the preliminary plat, the Planning Commission felt that it looks like it meets all requirements, and so they recommend approval of that as well.
I make a motion to approve the preliminary plat of Klug.
Okay, a motion by Dana. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Judy. Any further discussion? All of those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Motion is carried.
And the recommended approval of the zoning permits that were issued in the last month as well. Look for a motion on that.
Motion to approve the zoning permits
I'll
as
second it.
stated.
Motion by Judy is second by Teresa. Is that correct?
Yep.
Is there any further discussion? All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. The motion is carried. Thank you, Bob. And Carol, finance update.
I provided just actually right for now a copy of the trial balance and the treasurer's cash balance for the end of February because I'm still waiting on information to process all the journal entries to actually close out February. So later in the week I'll send you the detailed reports, but we're at where we're at for February. I guess we've been busy getting taxes ready to get the tax statements out from our outsourcing company. Had a couple glitches here and there, so we're working on that. We also have been in contact with Eilers regarding some different scenarios for bonding, possibly for the highway department and what payments would be, but Brian is out this week, so he'll probably schedule an appointment or get a building committee meeting scheduled.
Sometime when he gets back, yeah.
When he gets back.
Mhm.
And we're providing audit information, and they're wanting it fast.
They're here.
So, yeah, it goes on all year long, so.
Yeah.
We're pretty much just
It's
in
going
line
okay
where.
now? It's going good though?
Oh, yes.
Good.
No red flags at this point.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
I do look forward to the labor contracts getting settled so we can do our budget updates to see where we're actually at. in
That would be
terms of
good.
That would be
Yeah.
really good.
usage, so.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
You and me.
Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Tess?
I emailed her to come down early, but maybe
Okay.
we can finish everything else.
Sure. Consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion by Judy,
I'll second it.
seconded by Teresa. Any discussion? All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. That motion is carried. Okay, unfinished business, Highway Department building, nothing new to report. We haven't had any recent meetings. And I don't believe there's anything new on the historic jail unless you've got something, Judy.
No, nothing new. Dana, anything new?
No.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay, Commissioner reports. Judy?
I went to, we had EDA this week on Wednesday, and we're just doing a lot of planning for the March 26th summit that we're holding, which is when we'll be doing tours of the jail and hearing about different ideas for using it. So we're hoping a lot of people show up for it. Then I went to Mankato for 2 days for tourism, and got a really lot of information and some good leads from people there for some tourism ideas that I'm going to forward to Sam Whitehead. And I think that's it.
Teresa?
I didn't have any extra meetings this week.
That surprises me.
I know. I did, but I was unable to make it.
Okay, that's fine. Dana?
Yeah, I also attended EDA on Wednesday. Judy explained it well. And I also had, Thursday, I had water planning meeting and talked about, they were doing a budget amendment and discussed a little bit about the One Watershed, One Plan, which I went to the Monday before, which I already reported on. Yesterday I went to Orinoco for the Southeastern Minnesota Water Board.
Were you really into water?
I was busy last week. Yeah, I'm into water, yeah. It was just
the one plan need 2 commissioners there? Was that the one that needed 2?
No, we had to have an alternate, Steve.
Oh, okay.
In case I can't make it, I think Steve agreed to take that one.
Okay.
But anyway, we had a full turnout at the board meeting yesterday, which doesn't happen very often. So all 10 counties were represented. So it's a good board. And then we had a presentation by some soil and water districts from Whitewater Park and also from Fillmore. Very interesting. So how they get their message out to the public is very interesting. So that was my week.
That's okay. And I had the Association of Minnesota Counties Joint Legislative Conference last Wednesday and Thursday. Attended the Extension Committee meeting in Teresa's place. Interesting. Attended the general government and the luncheon, awards luncheon. I was proud to get my picture taken with the Mayville Blue Ribbon Strivers 4-H Club. They've received an award from the Association of Minnesota Counties for a project that they had in Caledonia here. Good bunch of kids, really good kids. And also attended the County Commissioner 201 session hosted by Scott Anderson, which was very interesting because it was all pretty much question and answer. Let's see. Managing Minnesota's groundwater resources, very interesting. It was a DNR speaker with that, very good. And then final luncheon was with Governor Mark Dayton, and I guess his biggest issue right now is the surplus, a huge surplus, and many hands reaching for it. But it sounds like a lot of it, they're trying to get a lot of it to county state aid highways, county roads, township roads, try to get as much of it there as they can. But like I said, there's a lot of political pressure to get their hands on it. And last night I had SIMCAC, and the biggest share of the meeting there was discussing the finances, SIMCAC's finances, and they are in very good financial condition when compared to many of the political action committees that are around the state. Great shape. And that was it for me, and yeah, that's it.
We do have a joint powers meeting on the 24th between Fillmore County and Houston County.
Yeah, just
for all
got that email.
commissioners. It's also this department head meeting.
Is that the same day, Teresa?
Same day.
Well, you're on department head.
That's the Joint Board of Health?
Joint Board of Health.
Board
Where
of
is it
Health.
at?
At the farmhouse.
Farmhouse in town here.
Okay.
We rotate between the 2 counties.
Okay, has everyone reviewed the claims, human services, and license center disbursements?
Yes, make a motion to approve the claims, human services, and license center disbursements.
Motion by Judy,
I'll second it.
second by Teresa. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. And we would like to adopt a resolution commending the Mayville Blue Ribbon Strivers, commending them their 4-H project, which was the planter boxes at the SIMCAC food shelf. Go ahead. Yeah.
I just thought that we should read
That's a
it
good
out
idea.
loud. Whereas each year the Association of Minnesota Counties selects 2 4-H projects in the state of Minnesota to receive the AMC 4-H Community Leadership Award. And whereas this award was developed to recognize 4-H clubs and other organized 4-H youth development programs for outstanding contributions and service to their local communities. And whereas the Mayville Blue Ribbon Strivers from Houston County, Minnesota were awarded the AMC 4-H Community Leadership Award for their Houston County Food Shelf Garden Project, which provided fresh vegetables to the local food shelf. Now therefore it be resolved that the Houston County Board of Commissioners hereby recognizes and commends the Mayville Blue Ribbon Strivers 4-H Club for their outstanding project which provided nutritional benefits to underprivileged county residents who utilize the food shelf. And be it further resolved that the Houston County Board of Commissioners more specifically would like to honor and recognize the individual members of the Mayville Blue Ribbon Strivers 4-H Club as follows: Hannah and Heidi Bowman, Caleb and Owen Kavanaugh, Amber, Caleb, Caitlin, and Tanner Kniff, Henry, Reese, and Riley Dearson, James Fitzpatrick, Evan and Vanessa Hawkins, Austin and Kendra Heim, Haley and Tyler Jennings, Kyle Jennings, Amelia and Vivian Kittleson, Blaine and Bronson Knutson, Carly and Chase Kruger, Anna, Eric, and Sarah Moss, Chase McCormick, Jack Miller, Christopher, Ella, and Tessa Pieper, Ella and Maya Reichenbacher, Hannah and Mary Russer, Kerrigan Scanlon, Casey and Aaron Schultz, Amber, Brooke, Kara, and Justin Stemper, Catherine, James, John, Joseph, and Leo Trundle, Alice, Bryn, and Elise Weinbender, Eliza, Eric, and Olivia Welsher. And then it just says that it's certified by
Yeah.
us.
I guess I'd also like to just commend Mark Jennings, the 4-H leader. Great leader, good fella. They plan to put, I think, 4 or 5 additional planter boxes at the food shelf location. I think they're going to team up with another 4-H club to get more parents involved. They received a plaque from the Association of Minnesota Counties and an award of $250. And part of the money that they received from the association is going to be put towards the new planter boxes. So really great club.
Good job.
Yeah,
Good job.
you bet.
So we need to make a motion to approve this resolution?
Yes.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Motion by Judy, second by Teresa. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. That motion is carried. It now becomes, I believe, a permanent record, permanent record with the county. And I think up next we have Tess.
Good morning, Commissioners. At this time, I would like to request that the Board go into closed session pursuant to Minnesota Statute 13D 3, Subdivision 1B, to discuss labor proposals for contract years 2015, 16, and 17.
Okay, motion.
Make a motion to go into closed session.
Motion by Dana to go into closed session. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Teresa seconds. Any discussion? All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, we have
I'll
a
motion to come out of closed session.
motion by Teresa.
Second.
Second by Dana. Any discussion? All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'll make a motion that we reach tentative agreement with LES number 60 and LES 237 to move forward with the agreement. And the raise would be, or not the raise, the COLA that we're looking at so far is 2, 2.5, and 3%. Is that correct?
For years 2015,
2006.
2016, and 2017
2017
respectively.
Good thing no one's here.
I will bring I'll communicate this back to the unit, and once they ratify, should they ratify, then we'll bring the formal agreement forward for your consideration at that time.
Okay, motion by Judy. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by
It
Teresa.
should be Dana. Dana's the negotiator.
Well, I can second.
Is there any
You wanna
further
rescind
discussion?
your
We got it already. Further
Doesn't-
discussion? All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And then we're going to
Motion carries.
continue negotiations with May 49ers, AFSCME, and the other 49ers.
Yeah. Not a motion, though. Consensus.
No, consensus. Motion to adjourn. Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't ask for that.
Yeah. Do it.
Thank you, Commissioners. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Motion by Judy to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Dana. Any discussion?
Roll call.
All those in favor say aye.
No.
Opposed? We're adjourned.